I'm here today with my dear friend and mentor, Prajyot Mainkar. He has been the Android Man of Goa and influenced multiple generations with students and just the IT ecosystem in general. Prajyot, we've worked together on a lot of things. We've had a lot of fun over the last 3 years. Before I talk about Bridge Aura, I just wanted to get your perspective on what students should know about the job market and the IT industry in 2026.
Firstly, thank you. It's a pleasure talking to you. I think this job scenario right now is driven by potential AI, which is more inclined towards skilled labor, which also calls for skilled talent, skilled education, and skill set building. Three fundamental aspects of job today. Throw back your pages probably 5, 6 years back, and it was a complete difference. I think this is an entirely a new generation, which is more focused on skill, qualities of anyone who's passing out of whether it is engineering or any reputed colleges in any state for that matter. Fundamentals being very clear and implementing it into a skill orientation are two different aspects. Back in the days, you could probably skim through some of the pages and you could probably get marks and clear and get your degrees out and you probably talk about it. Today's generation is slightly different. You have the AI coworker which is working alongside with you. How you use your AI with your know-hows or the skills can probably portray a better image of you. And we are talking just not about individual image, but also about how your social impact is also into perspective. What you pass out probably back 5, 6 years, that was completely different today. Here you need to be more vocal, you need to be more social, you need to connect with right set of people, build your personal brand, if I have to probably put it, and see how you can also contribute back. You build your personal brand and inspire other people as well. I think it is a complete package that you need to deliver as an individual. And what started back in 2025, I think it's going to continue for next 10 years, and we really don't know how it's going to shape. All in all, it's more than just a book today. Yeah.
So you say that in terms of building personal brand and all of what you mentioned, social skills, this applies not only to potential entrepreneurs, but also just people looking for jobs. It is also important for them,
Yeah.
you believe?
Absolutely. I think coming to job per se, I think when we interview, right, we look at how the our subconscious mind looks at the personality, right? I mean, judges you before you even arrive. So that subconscious mind is an invisible factor in anyone, right? So you call it as a communication body language. So like I said, it's more than degree today, and degree typically holds no value or lesser value if I have to probably be candid about it. But more say, I think it is all about how you carry your personal brand, and I think what you write for others, what you write for yourself, can really make a huge difference. But it's not just about job. It's all about how you can. I mean, you talk about communication, talk about personal branding, talk about how you carry yourself. All of those factors now together impacts how individual can the individual can impact your network, society, nation as a whole. So when I talk about country as a whole, I think these individual factors make and break things, right?
I think also the sentiment has been evolving over time where, because my mom was a teacher, she also always made sure to tell me, whatever you're learning, make sure you know how to apply it.
Absolutely.
And when you, of course, in college, many, many years ago, me graduating in 2017, we have our own versions of, the degree is not as important, skills are more important. But now at this point in 2026, that might just be the only thing. I still, whenever we talk to our students, we say, the degree may not be important, but going there, connecting, starting clubs, starting initiatives is very important at the college level. How many of our team members are doing startups there?
True.
Definitely.
True.
So, in terms of this gap, when we talk about skills, right? So, you were part of Bridge Aura 2025, and you were, in my opinion, as a friend, I think, a huge support. And I thank you for that.
Sure.
I would like to talk about Bridge Aura specifically, but in terms of skilling, this industry, do you think that there is a gap between when students graduate? You said skills, right? But current scenario, do you feel that we are anywhere close to where it should be, or do you think that we have a lot of work to do over there?
So skilling and education right now is going at a immensely pacey, way. Um, Goa has always been pictured as the disconnect between education scaling and the job market fit, right? And it's not been issue that cannot be solved. But we've been talking about it since ages, probably.
Decades.
Yeah, probably when we also passed out, it's the same topic now. Not much difference in 2025, of course, thanks to the different departments that have been playing an individual role. I mean, they've been doing this from their individual capacities, and you see a difference. But I particularly feel still the numbers of engineering intake and the education for that matter.
We
is
had a
even too
report
low.
a few weeks ago.
Absolutely. And that number
Quite
would not make a difference next year as well, provided you see that skilling component coming in place. When I say skilling is not just about technical skilling. There's much more beyond that we have already spoken about. But having said that, engineering needs a complete rebranding. I mean, no matter how many would agree to this, but it needs a threefold, change. Not just and you need to have several people on stake. You need to have educationists, you need to have people from the industry, and then you need to also have research and development coming in place. I mean, these three will make a huge difference. The first segment will get you the job impact, the second would get you the scaling and the research that's happening, and third is the market access that you still require, because if there are no takers, the industry needs to talk about it. And I'm not just talking about resources, I'm talking about skilled resources.
correct.
We need people, any company for that matter, including ours, we need skilled resources. We don't want to really spend immense amount of time to train. Training is now AI co-worker for you, because you can probably ask a few questions. Probably even 90% of your work gets done there. So your training gets, but skill training now, that brings prompt engineering, that brings several other factors how you can train that body. Now, coming to scaling perspective, I think the entire education system needs a revamp to a large level.
On with you on this.
And I've been talking about that. And engineering needs to be fun engineering, because it's not just about books. Half the subjects probably are outdated, right? And I've been to that system.
Yeah, we've been
Yeah.
2017.
And we've introduced Android back in the days. I mean, that's 13 years back. But still, there needs new subjects. And now that curriculum-based system will not work, because the curriculum itself is evolving, right? I mean, you have the models getting changed, every fortnight. You've got so many things which is happening. Token engineering is coming in place. So there's plenty of things to catch up. I can understand from the student perspective as well. See, you need to also give them perspective and direction.
Exactly.
When you train, you're talking about CTCs. There's much beyond that, right? So basic factors come skilling. If you have skilling, you can implement it. So implement engineering comes in place. Make and break things come in place. So it has to be fun engineering. It cannot be, you cannot judge today on the basis of marks. There has to be something different. The difference will only come when we all sit on table and discuss what is the viable. Because if someone is paying a lakh or two per semester for that matter, right? The return of investment has to be valuable, right? I mean, in terms of quality education, I have no questions. Brilliant. There are fabulous colleges, and I think the teachers have been amazing. I mean, considering your example as well of Bridgewater, there have been people who are coming, and thanks to all the teachers who's been supporting to that notion. But I still feel the engineering needs a complete revamp. I think it's a high time that the discussion across the table needs to happen as soon as possible. Quality education is bygone days. You require skilled education, fun education, impact education.
Exactly. I still remember that when I was in college, and my personal journey of starting specifically product design, UI, UX. At that time, the term UX and UI did not exist. It was still HCI, human computer interaction. The few first tools, Figma and all, just released at that time. And while I'm happy about it, that I think 2 years ago I went to GC to judge, and then I realized they actually have a module on UI, UX in the second year, first year. While I was happy about that, too late. 2016. And of course, as you said, there are amazing professors who are very happy to teach. In fact, professors that said, listen, there's not much value of you being in class right now. Make sure when you're out, I will give you attendance, but you learn things.
Yeah.
We'd have no shortage of people who wanted to work. But systemically, I think these things take a lot of time. You put a curriculum in, by the time the teachers ingest it and the structure and the formats and the middle place, it's already outdated.
Absolutely.
So I think a way of not skipping entirely, but augmenting, plug and play with colleges and industry, I think is a pretty good model to go ahead, right?
Yeah.
So coming to Bridgewater, I think before I ask you about this year, I want to just ask you your candid experience of last year. You were there as a speaker. You were there to a lot of students already knew you, and we are working on it for a long time. So, what did you think about Bridgeora last year, the whole event and the whole 2 months?
It was a missing piece. Prajyot was a missing piece, which came at the right time, to be very honest. From a student, understanding and meeting a different set of people from the industry made a huge difference. You have a curriculum based system, which is very handy because anyone who is going through a system of thoughts in a process requires a clarity. I think your program provided that. Probably a late entrant, but a great time. Um, if Goa had this probably 6-7 years back, it would have been a larger impact that we would have seen. But nevertheless, it's always great to start anytime. From an AI module, brilliant time to enter into the market and explore and experiment how things go. While you are the parent body that runs it, it's the other side which also needs an activity from their side, which will only happen when they understand the value added that you're going to provide with, which I'm sure that this year will also be 2x, 3x, probably 100x, and that is what I wish from my heart as well. But at the same time, the receipt, we talk about, when we keep talking to someone, the listener is pretty important, right? I mean, you might as well talk as much as you want, but the value addition comes when someone receipts to it. Students need to do that. And I urge, through this medium, I urge everyone to join Bridge Aura to experience a thoughtfulness and to see a journey that probably they would not really experiment during their 4 years of experimentation in their engineering. Now, while I talk about this, one of the highlight points which I really liked is it was not just engineering focus. It had a platter of thoughts. It was like a buffet where you probably could choose what you like, what you're really good at. You could probably filter out according to. So you show the entire platter, and you pick and choose. You see your skill set. So in that notion, what happens is you understand what you're really good at, what you need to improve. So there are several factors that come in place. Communication, experience with engineering, UI, UX. Still, not everything can be triggered by AI. Fundamental issues come public speaking. I mean, these individual things. I also saw a couple of your posts where you mentioned there was a presentation. Now, being on the stage is a completely different game, right? I mean, you prepare and you be on stage, and then you have got industry asking you questions. Not an easy. So you are probably jumping 3-4 steps a little ahead, which engineering probably. So that's fundamentally you are taking off a couple of years of engineering into your program within 2 months. I would rather insist look at Goa University to plug and play this module into the system somewhere so that there is a curriculum attached to this. There's a seriousness attached to this, and which really helps. Because I would probably say if this was probably there in my time, probably I would have chosen this because it allows me to connect and network, which probably was absolutely, which was very close and dear to my heart as well. So I think your program allows you to connect with industry. You have mentors, you take online sessions, so that gets check marked there. You also have public speaking, communication. Now, if you still don't want to be a good engineer, you're still better as a communicationist and probably a public speaker, right? So you still is that subconscious mind still talks about your communication skill.
Absolutely.
When we meet, we talk about what clothes you're wearing, what watch you're wearing, and that does matter,
Absolutely.
right? So, I call that as the order engineering. I call it as body engineering. So these factors in through your program is a fundamental aspect more than engineering. Because if you are a very good engineer and you cannot talk, you are a bad engineer. But you are an average engineer, but you can talk and you can public speak. You are 3 checks ahead of everyone.
Absolutely.
So your platform provides all the vitamins that someone needs. That probably at no cost. And even if this program was paid, I would still insist people to subscribe to this. It's because I believe that any program that requires an efforts and executional framework needs to be paid and subscribes to, because it's a long journey. No one can teach corporate speaking, public speaking in 3 months. That brings to me to the last point. The 2 months internship should actually be a little extended internship. Through your medium, I would also like to tell those decision makers that have an extended period. The only university that I see having an extended period is Goa University for their MCA, which is a 6 months internship, dedicated internship. Probably engineering needs to scrap off 6-7 months and put it 1 year field internships, go back, see the machinery is working, see how the IT companies function. That is when we can retain the talent. So your bridge aura solves couple of problems. One is talent execution to a right skill set, and then mapping of interest discovery, which is very important because that allows me to see where I'm really good and fit at, which is important because half the engineering students today don't know what they want to become. Not their mistake. It is just that we haven't given them a right picture of what is there in Goa.
Exactly.
So through your medium, Bridge Aura is in Goa. There are 800, DBIIT, registered
Exactly.
startups. There are 400 plus startups in Goa. I think that's a great opportunity for everyone to connect. We just need to work together to connect these pieces so that the engineering becomes more fruitful and fun.
Fair, fair. I still, what stood out to me specifically is I look up to your journey. Of course, when I was a student, I still remember, all of the ventures you had. But I think this thing specifically about exposure, I think engineers specifically live in a bubble because we come in with that, everyone comes in with that mentality of marks driven. And I still remember this very small point in 12th. It was so comforting to look at that math textbook and only answer and get full, 100% in those questions. But even then, it occurred to me, life is not going to be like this.
Yeah.
And when we say engineer, we are proud engineers. You are a proud engineer. I love engineering. I love my time at GC. But somehow, it never has the same thing. Like, doctor, there's a very predefined role. There's almost like this joke sometimes that, for the good people, of course, they go to engineering and then they figure out what to do later in life. Even we've tried so many things, but I think that the ones who were exposed to this early on had the opportunity to do it. And even without Bridge Aura in general, I think students should go out and see. You may not want to be a developer, but you will be great at sales, marketing, business. Just because you've gone there for whatever reasons, you still have to keep doing all of this, and also learning how to learn. Even at this age and where we are right now, we are still learning. Somehow there's this unnecessary thing that the students think that once engineering is done and I get set into a job, I don't have to learn anything.
True.
And you learn this 10 years later. Right?
So, which is a very important point as well. The other day I was reading a very interesting story, and I probably quote it here as well. There was this, old father and the child. They used to walk in the field, a couple of buckets in the hand. One had a crack and one didn't have a crack. So, while going, fetch the water, come back. So by the time you could return back to the city, right, to their house, you had the full bucket having an entire water that you have fetched. The other one used to be half. Probably you go with an expectation of two, but you get half, right? Boy used to wonder, why don't we sort of repair this? Why to carry this? After 1 year, you could see the entire walkway where he had half, bucket had all the flowers blooming from that area. So the process of learning and unlearning, you never know that sometimes you inspire someone through your actions or unactions, right? You never know. So education is never going waste, right?
Absolutely.
There was a hole on that bucket and probably it laid a path for flowers to bloom in. Now that looks a beautiful road on the other side. So the first one served water, but this gave life to someone. That small little experimentations in life, whether you learn maybe through your program, even someone picks up 2% of it, implements in their life, gets value for someone to inspire. Bridge Aura is just a thought of probably grooming from your ideas, meetings, thoughts, but it is our collective baby to probably drive the action. That is because when someone else is going to attach to this program, we are going to flourish Goa, India. That is what we are looking at. So that it's not one man's journey. It's an one man's idea. But we also need multiple people joining and trusting and be your salesman to promote these actions. That is because we see a value in this program. Obviously, no one gets it perfect during, there would be obviously the iterations that will come in. I'm sure this year it's going to be even magnanimous compared to last year, and so on and so forth. Eras change, days change, mentors, keep evolving through the exchange of thoughts that come in. I think we are sitting at the beautiful junction of execution. I think the media needs to probably look at it and sort of take it to a next level because it needs to reach out to even the rural side of it.
Absolutely.
Right? Many need to cooperate and get attached to this.
And they're good. just
Absolutely.
because of the lack of exposure,
Absolutely.
and even just having the tech at the end of the day, being in the college, being around or being at this event, they realize that I don't have anything lacking. I just needed to make sure that opportunities like this, we take the full advantage of.
Yeah.
And that's why everyone should know.
Yeah.
So on a closing note, I am very pleased to share with you for the first time our plan for this year. For the first time, I don't know how we got there, we are going to be having 500 students this year
Very nice.
across
That's a batch.
engineering.
Yeah.
Proud moment for me personally, but I think with a movement, you don't even know how you get there.
Yeah.
But to have seen people take it so seriously is a personal, moment for me. And more importantly, in terms of curriculum this year, we have so many amazing mentors. We are going very deep into AI, but also the foundation. I think the first month, everyone in engineering, the fun part is for the first year, we tried everything. And
Yeah.
then, of course, we chose our specializations earlier, but we still have that, basics of civil, basics of mech, and we use it. I work with clients with IT where if they're a real estate client, we know something. So as you said, learning never goes to waste. This year we have business. We have, of course, tech because it's engineering and tech and MCA and BCA is the base of it. Everything, low code to high code.
Yeah.
We also have very specific emotional mastery, someone coming in to take a lot of sessions for goal setting, understanding what we are good at. Some of us are lucky enough to have identified what we were good at earlier and double down on it. Some take sometimes a lifetime.
Yeah.
And so much the kind of support that we're having. We already closed on 10 mentors this year, 50
Very nice.
sessions and everything. And definitely AI, while we have to also understand AI, what it is, which is a co-pilot rather than a replacement for strategy, but you cannot escape it. If someone is doing something which you would take a year to do within 1 month, there is, even if the quality, there is a difference, you still have to be on that level.
Absolutely.
So having shared the plan, as a closing note, what would you like to say specifically for Bridge Aura Tech Cohort and Industry Summit 26 to the students and also students who have not yet joined? What would you like to say to them?
Grab the opportunity. That's the keyword probably. And I think we are fundamentally at a good space that the initial internship used to be a little lesser, and now at least an internship concept has come into a space of engineering, which probably has taken good long years. Better late than never, but it has come. And I think any impact where evaluation takes a bit of a time. So good that you're having 10 mentors and a spread of thoughts into this action plan of yours. At the same time, I think it all depends on how we see more numbers. 500, I hope that number even increases next year or probably goes so-called by. Absolutely. Numbers need to increase. Numbers show there is a pitch of thought that is matching, right? 1 brings 2, 2 brings 4. That is what we need to do. And that's a cultivating factor that we need to sort of hatch on to. Having said that, the plan looks great. I think now we have to see from an angle that how students receive to it and probably broadcast it to make it 5x in coming years. And I think that is when they realize the value. They need to also, like I said, I mean, engineering is a different side of it. This is fun. Your program is fun. That fun with a little bit of seriousness, obviously, needs a complete new benchmarking. It cannot be, judge against why this. It needs to be why not, right? Absolutely. That factor needs to come in. See, give it a little time, and that this is particularly for the students. Give it a little time. See how it works. Even if 2% of this curriculum helps you out, I think you're still done great of that 2 months of internship. For me, if you ask my honest thought that 2 months are too less, probably you should do that over a 6 month, and then probably through your media, I would suggest
1 step at a time.
1 step at a time, 1 month at a time, probably, and hopefully by 5th year you'll have 5 months. But having said that, brilliant point, and I hope this thing really works well in the favor of students because you're on a mission that is probably thought by all the industry legends as tough nut to crack, but I hope that that has not demotivated you, which I can clearly see because meeting 500 people is never easy.
No.
I think you've been through this journey yourself as a student. You know the pain points.
Absolutely.
This is exactly the amplification of what should have not happened, and that's you're probably sharing your life journey with others, and which is a challenge because to set up an event and curriculum like this takes a lot of effort. So kudos to you and your team for driving this.
Mentors and everyone who's volunteering the time.
The entire crew who's involved into this plan of action requires an applause from all of us because skill talent is what we look at. So once you have a skill talent, wrapped from your end, they are hireable through companies such as ours. So I think it is great, and I wish you all the best to drive this momentum, or I could say movement, the Goa internship drive or a movement that you've been associated with. I hope all the other departments associated with you to see this action, because they have to see this through to believe in the system. That's the system. So you build a system, and which is great. I think all the best to you and your team.
Prajyot, thank you so much.
Pleasure mine.
Not only for this chat, but again, as I said, of course, we are friends first, but at the same time, I cannot downplay the effect and the impact you had not only on last year, but this year. I think, in a way, what you have been doing for Goa's IT ecosystem, for the students, the fact that even when I didn't know you personally many years ago, I still knew the work that you were doing. I think, in a way, I'm honored to kind of add and carry a little bit of that ahead. And to all of the students, I am so excited. As I said, the mentors and everyone, we are successful collaboratively because of the vision that we have set.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Pleasure mine. Thank you.